So yeah, welcome to today's class. Today we'll be looking at CSS Grid. I know some people were confused in the last class of using CSS Grid and Flexbox. So today I'll be explaining more broadly into CSS Grid, and we'll be talking about CSS measurement, because in CSS measurement you will need to know the difference between absolute and relative units. So let's And also, to understand CSS Grid properly, this is what we'll be building in today's class. This testimonial layout will be building it in today's class. So let's all follow suit. So you can see we have a lot to do. So at some point we have to run and we have to drag back a bit. So please, if you have any question, you can't just cut me in between. You have to drop it in the chat box, or you wait till the end of the class, either of the two. So thank you very much. So let's go ahead and let me give a brief explanation into CSS Grid. I told you that CSS Grid is a multi-dimensional layout which is used to build um, a multi-dimensional design. As you have seen on this design now, you can't use Flexbox to design this. With Flexbox, you can use Flexbox, but you have a couple of divs, like you're going to have like three different divs. This particular element that has four inside it, this one that has four is going to be a particular div, and this one is going to be a different div. So you are going to have like two different divs just for multiple divs. But with CSS Grid, you can just do everything from just a single div, where everything is going to be aligned properly. So before I go into this design, I want you all to have a better understanding of CSS Grid. So we'll be doing a demo, which I'll be explaining how you make use of the call span, the row span, and also having a multi-dimensional design. So let's go get into that. It's just a simple thing. So you just have to just follow along. And please, as you have all known, don't interrupt the class today, because we have a very long way to go. So I think we are all familiar with what I'm doing here. It's just the normal stuff we are doing. Just the normal HTML structure we have. Let's have another div here. It's going to be class name, items. And here we have item 1. So I duplicate it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's all for the HTML. So let's get into our CSS. So to style it properly so we can see what we are actually doing. So we don't have our CSS yet, so I will just create a folder for my CSS and have my index.css right there. So let's come back here and import it. We have our href dot slash styles slash index.css. So we are good right here. We have to do our global reset, which everyone is aware of. So we are all familiar with this, so I don't need to go over the explanation again. So let's now style our body. For our body, we have a font family. I don't want to import a font family from, well, we're still going to eventually import a font family. So let me check my style guide here to see the font family we'll be using for our project eventually. Okay, this is it. This is the font family we'll be using. So let's just copy it here. Let's paste it here. No, let's go to, I don't have it here, so let's just go to Google Fonts. Name is condense what? I'm coming. Sans serif. Sans serif. And also the other one we are going to be using. Once we get it, I would include that. Coming. Let me search for it. Okay, so this is it. Get style. So we are importing it, which is just a normal practice. And we import it, we copy and paste it at the top level of our code base, which is right here. So we have this, then we have our style. Let me just copy it from Google. Sorry, hope we are all following. I don't want to just be, it's just a monologue class. So hope we are all following. All right, thank you. Okay, so Olatiloye, can you unmute and speak? Font size, we'll be using a font size of 16 pixel. Also, we'll be using a color, a color of, I explained color in the last class. Oh, I use font size. Thank you for that. I use font size instead of font family. Sorry. Font family. Thank you, Adela. It's always, sometimes when you're writing code, it's always, you can always forget. So thank you for spotting that out. Background color. We're having a color of ash 333 and a background color of white. You know, the color is the color of the text, while the background color is white. We have F5, 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 which is white. Okay, so we have an F5, which is white. Also, we would also we have, let's now start our container. Sorry, can you hear me clearly now? Am I audible enough? All right, thank you. So we are going to style our container, which you have right there. Container, then you know it's a class, so we have to put the dot in front of it to style the container. So we have a max width. What a max width means is the total width of our device, of our container rather, which is going to be 960 pixel. Then we'll give it a margin, give it a margin of top and bottom 100 pixel and auto left and right. So I explained in the last class that you, instead of you writing margin top 100, margin bottom 100, margin left, auto, margin right, auto, this is that, okay, it gives it a space at the top and at the bottom, and also it gives it equal space. It gives it 100 pixel spacing at the top and at the bottom, and also it gives it an equal spacing on the right and on the left. Ezekiel, sir, please, can you come again with the import part? You can always go to the last class on CSS where we talked about importing and how to import image, or you can also go back to YouTube to watch this class. So, because I have explained this import of image over and over again, so I can't explain that right at this point again. So we give it a padding. I also explained in the last class that padding is the space inside of an element, while margin is the space outside of an element. So we'll now use how to display grid. We'll now use our display grid, which is informing it that uh, Abigail, probably you have to drop off and come back inside again. Drop off the call and come back. Probably it's your network. We have to display grid. Then once you display grid, it tells you, okay, that this is a grid element. You're no longer using flexbox. So if you want to make it flexbox, you just do display flex, and it's a flex element. So at this point, we are talking about CSS grid. So we are making use of CSS grid. So once we do our display grid, let's check out what we have now on our browser. So that we can all see that we are all following. Okay. Olatiloye, Olatoye, can you unmute and speak? Olatoye, can you unmute and speak? Olatoye, I asked you to unmute. If you are speaking, I can't hear you, Olatoye. Hillary, can you unmute and speak?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Sir, thank you very much for the class. Sir, I don't know. I don't know if I missed the class. I joined the meeting and we are talking about something different from where we ended last class.
How? How am I talking about something different?
I was seeing Figma imported image.
That's based on the last class. That's based on the task you were given, not for this class. What you are talking about in this class is Figma, is CSS Grid. Yeah, thank you very
Okay,
much.
sir. Then
Ola.
this style, so I'm not done, sir. This style guide, how do we get it?
Don't worry about the style guide. This one is, once you are working with a UI/UX designer, everything you need for your design will be given to you as a style guide. Don't worry about
Okay,
what I'm
sir.
doing. What we are going to be working on in this class, that is why I have this project set up. For your tax, everything you need for your tax has been given to you on your LMS, so you don't need to worry yourself about the style guide.
Okay, sir. Sir, lastly, your class, the items, you did not number the item one, item two. You just put everything items.
I don't need. I'm not giving everything a different style. What I'm just doing is, I want to tell you how I'm going to use just one item, and I'm going to style each one of them differently. So just follow the class and see where we are going to. Yeah. So thank you. I didn't close my link. That's some of the things you can just keep. Yeah. So this is what we have currently on our browser. So let's just let's just continue. So let's go to our CSS styling, and we have given it a display grid. You can see that when we give it a display grid, everything are still stacked, are still on a straight line instead of it to be side by side. So next thing we are going to do is we do a grid template column, which is there's something in CSS there's something in CSS grid, which is, you want to give your element equal size. Instead of you writing 200 pixel, 200 pixel, 200 pixel, which we did in the last class, I can just do something called repeat. That means, okay, I need three column grid, and everything should be of equal size. That is one FR. That what one FR means is one fractional unit. So you can see that everything right here, I have three equal grid, and everything are of the same size. That is what one fractional unit is. If I tell it, okay, I need something of 200 pixel, which is of the same size for the three different grid, that is what it's going to give me. I hope there's no confusion with the fractional unit, which I used there, which is something that is always used with, Eli, drop your question in the chat box, please. Which is always used when you are working with CSS grid. You will be using fractional unit a lot, which is just one FR, or you can just give it as something like, okay, 200 pixel, repeat, like that. So instead of me writing 200 pixel, I just tell it, okay, give me um three column grid, which is of one of three of the same size. That is what one fractional unit means. So Hilary, so let me continue. So the next thing we have is, you have to give it a gap. There is no gap right here. So we give it a gap. I mentioned that instead of you using, in the last class, I mentioned that instead of you using a margin and a padding for your gap, for giving it space in your CSS, in uh, in flex in Flexbox, in Flexbox and also in Grid, you don't use margin and padding. What you use to give it margin is gap. So we are give it a gap. So we give it a gap right here, gap of, let's give it 10 pixel. So I think we are good. I have a question right here. So the next thing we are going to do is, now that we have our our grid setup, we now have to focus on each element, which is this. You can see before it was all close together. We now give it a gap of 10 pixels. So around each element, there is a gap of 10 pixels there. So let's continue. Then the next one we have is, we have to style our items, which is what is holding each one of them. Then we are going to give it a background color. What background color should we give it? We should give it a background color of aquamarine, or let's use an hexadecimal, which is something we'll be using as time goes on, our RGBA. Then we give it a color of white. Each one of them has to be white. The text inside it has to be white. So it's just standard. It depends on your background color. That is why I'm giving this a text of white. Then I have to increase the font size. I'm just explaining this so that you can understand. This is not basically CSS Grid, just a normal function of things, of normal CSS, but just to bring back our memories of what we have done in CSS. For some of us that have forgotten, that's why I have to just run through that. But I understand that some people might have forgotten, so I just have to run through this again. Okay, we have a border. I'm going to give each one of them border so we can see, by the time we begin to extend them one after the other, we can see that we have, let's use red, because red will be more visible. Red, 1 pixel solid, which is perfect. So now you can see that, let's check what we have right here. We can see that everything we have here is aligned properly. Okay, I have to give it a padding. I have to give it a padding, so it's going to, let me give it a padding so we can see it properly. So let me give it a padding of 20 pixels. So you can see. So one thing I want to do here is, I want to extend it from one end to another, which is something you can do with CSS Grid. Instead of me giving the item one a width of probably 200 pixels to be longer than the other ones, there are ways you can do it in CSS Grid that would extend the line, for each one of them. So this is what I'm going to do. So this is particular for CSS Grid. So the next thing we have here now is, I target the items, and I have there's something called nt dash of type dash type. That means you're targeting a particular element which you want to style. Oh, sorry, I should have put a dot right here. Dot. So I have a background color of, let me give it purple. Sorry, at any point, Falan Ogbenga, you are wrong for muting your mic. You don't have to unmute your mic, please. So now I want to extend it, which is a grid column of 1/3. That means I want this particular one to have a an extended width. Why am I not having the design? Sorry, what's going on here? An empty type of one should be this. No, sorry, just a second. Let me check. Is there something I'm missing? No, I don't need to give it a class name. I'm targeting it from a particular point, which is right here. Targeting it can't be in capital letter, it has to be in small letter. I'm targeting it from a particular point, which is right here. So let me give that number one a different class name. Let me see. Just a second. Let me give it a different class name. So it should actually work, but it's not working. Just a second. So just a second. Wow. So it's actually sometimes your code might not decide to work. It's very easy. It's very normal for you to have bugs in your code, which is something. So let me. I've done that. Thank you for Tijani for adding that. So I've given this one a style. Let me check the style. I want to see what is there. It's still not working. What issues are we having right here? Should actually have a background color of purple for the item one. Is it item or item? Oh, I just wrote items one. Okay, thank you. So it should be items one. Let's check the background color. So we can see it's purple now. So let me increase the grid column. Grid column 1/3. So you can see this is what I'm trying to achieve with what I did the other time. But someone was giving me a suggestion in the chat box. Let me see. Which is you're using, oh, thank you very much. I was writing H instead of N. Thank you for that. Well, it's normal for you to make those kind of mistakes actually. So yeah, thank you. That means most of you went back at the end of the class to go and check, to go and read up on CSS Grid. It's actually easy. It's actually easy for someone to forget something like this. So uh, I'm not that perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect human being. So let's check it out. Yeah, so we have the same thing. So thank you very much, guys. It's sometimes you might be looking at something and it might just be a tiny error, which is instead of me writing H, I wrote N. Yeah, and sometimes it might just be a semicolon, which is causing the issue. So thank you very much, guys, for bailing us out. So now let's continue. So I have extended the height, I've extended the width of number one from from its normal original position, which is at position one, to now be a two column grid. That is extend from position one to position three. That is what that one fraction 1/3 means. Are you guys still following? Are you following? Let me not just be speaking. Um all right. So only Yesiras is following. Okay, what I did was I wanted to increase, the normal way, which if you want to increase the width of an element in your CSS, you probably have to give it a width of probably, okay, each one of them are 200 pixel, but you don't want to give it a width of 200 pixel. You have to give it a you want to give it a width, or each one of them are 200 pixel, yeah, but you want a particular one to be like 1000 pixel, to be much longer than any other one. Instead of we doing width of 1000 pixel in CSS Grid, you can just increase the column of a particular one, which is what I did right here, which is what I gave this number one a grid column of 1/3. That means from your position at one, expand down to column three, which is what we have right here. That means from position one at your starting point here, extend to this part, which is at the beginning point of column 3. John Paul, do you understand now? John Paul, do you understand now? All right. So Bankole, what's your question? Bankole Oluwatosin, what's your question? You're saying I should go back to the HTML part. What is at the HTML part?
But I'm okay with this, sir. You can go on.
What did you say?
I'm fine now. I'm fine now. You answered me already.
All right. Rahim, what's the question, Rahim? Rahim, unmute and speak.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, my question is on this grid column 1/3. Yeah, we're actually covering 2 columns. Why not 1 column 1/2?
Okay, let's do 1/2. You can see 1/2 will still give you a particular size which is there. So what I told you to do, that's what I explained, that your starting point should be at position 1. Your starting point should be at position 1 and extend down to the starting point of position 3, which is this part. So this is going to give it a different, is going to expand the line. So now that we have 1/2, that means just occupy your particular width of your element. But the time you had 3, which is giving it more extra space, which is this, is going to extend downwards, and it starts at this position here. It starts at this point, then move to this point, which is the start point of position 3. If with that, let me show you this. 2, you can see that this is just the starting point of position 1. From this part to where the gap is, that is the start point of position 1. Then it extends from the starting point of position 1 to the starting point of position 3. So item 2 moves to the position of position 3, while item 3 moves to the position of position 4, and it changes the design automatically. Do you understand now, Rahim?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
All right.
Thank you.
Paul, you said so. It means that grid 2, that will give space for 1 and extend. Yes, that's what it means. That means grid 2 is going to move to the position of 3. Then 3 is going to item 1 is going to occupy more space. Then move to the position of 2. While 2 moves to the position of 3. So are we all clear now? We are clear with the grid template column. So let's take that back. Let's return it back so that we don't. So that's what we have right there. We are back to what we have. Then Paul, what is interesting? What can you speak, Paul? Paul,
Yeah, like when you were explaining, actually, it's today that I'm getting this. Like, I was actually doing rubbish before, you get. So when you explain this thing now, I was not saying so. I was doing rubbish, and I remember the nonsense I was doing before. So
yeah, that's what CodeCamp is here for. You have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's how programming is. You can't know everything at every point in time. You have to relearn at every point. So what you know before might work, but it at some point it might not work again. So that's why I had an issue. Instead of me writing H, I was writing N. So it's just one of those things. So just be open-minded to learning at every particular point. So let's style the other one. So we have an item, and we have NH. So let me not write N again. I want to style a particular one which is of position 3. Then I give it a background color. What should background color should I give it? Lemon chiffon. Okay. And let's extend the grid. Okay. Let's give it a grid row so that instead of having a column, right here, so this is a column, straight line is a column, while Hilary, you have a question? Hilary, be fast about your
Yes, sir.
question.
Sorry, sir. So I'm not actually getting it. Probably I should go back to the class. But can you explain why? Explain that line of n item one and two, if possible. Just
I
that line.
Okay, what I said is that normally, if you want to increase the width of an element, if you want to give it an extended width, each one of them are 200 pixel. Each one of them are 200 pixel. But you want to increase the width of a particular one, then you're now going to give it a different class name, which is something I did before, which was item item one, to give it a different class name. After giving it a different class name, you now give that particular one a width, something like this. So let's do so now. For that item one, let's comment this out. Everything is 200 pixels. So I now do items one. Let me give it a dot. I give it a dot. Instead of me trying to do this, do a width of 1000 pixel, of 1000 pixel. Instead of me giving it a width, you can see that particular one. You can see that particular one that I gave it. It gave everything a particular width of 1000 pixel. That means reducing the size of other ones. And also, I will answer the question of Francisca. Francisca, that is, if I can just do, if the way I just did items, okay, okay, someone has answered you in the chat box. So it's just that telling that I want this particular item, that is the one at position one, not not type of, that means the one at position one. Let me just that one. Okay, these ones are in different positions. We have position one, position two, position three, position four, position five, position six, position seven, eight, and nine. So as position one, I want this one to occupy a grid a I want to apply a grid column of 1 over 3. That is what a notch child is. Instead of, you can see now that I just used an item 1. It gave everything that is on that particular row. It gave it an extended width of 1000 pixel. But if it's with not type of 1, it's just going to target the particular one, the one that is at position 1. Let me comment this out. You can even see from my HTML here, I only gave the one at position 1, at item 1, a width of 1000 pixels, but every other one there was affected with 1000, because the reason why they are affected is because they are all on the same row. Francisca, do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's continue. Is there any other question there before? Okay. Someone was saying, okay, vertical column, and yeah, I do make it's something that is subconscious. I don't make those issues, so I just make it simpler. For column, I'll use the word standing as Paul as suggested for me in the chat box. Standing, and also for row, that means you're lying down. Let me just use that word. Column means is straight, while horizontal means is lying down. So for this, let me return this back. So for our grid template column, for our grid column, we have given the position of one, a grid column of 1 over 3. So now, instead of just having everything 1 over 3, we want our position 3 to be a row. That means it should occupy 2 rows. So we do something called grid row, grid row, grid row 2 over 4. Why? What's going on? Okay, 2 over 4. And let's check this out. What am I doing? Am I doing something wrong again? Oh, sorry, I didn't put my dot in front of it. Another mistake. Sorry about that. So you can see that item um Item 3 is now having a different height. I've given item 3, excuse me, I've given item 3 a different height. I can also change the particular color of item 3. Let me change the color to blue or black. Color black. Color to black. So you can see that even without giving item 3 an height, I was able to use grid to increase the height of column 3. Do you understand what I just did with? Do you understand that? Okay, let me just use a simple term. You can actually use your grid template role and column to give a different height and width to a particular element without giving it a different class name in your HTML. Do you understand that simple analogy? Or I should go over it again? Yeah, sorry. Do you understand? I want others to speak. Okay, Paul, you don't understand. What I'm saying is that what I meant with by saying that is that, okay, now you can see that I increased the width of item 1 by just using a grid template, a grid column of 1/3, and also I increased the height of item 3 by just using a grid roll of 2/4. So I have given it, even without giving each one of them a different class name, I have been able to increase the height and the width of a particular element. Do you understand now, John and Samson? John Paul and Samson, do you understand? John Paul and Samson, do you understand? Or I should go by it again? John, what about you? John, what about you? I'm waiting for a response, John. John, okay, John, I've dropped off the call. Is John still on the call? Okay, you know, guys now understand it now. Perfect. So let me also increase the height of item 5, which is this. So I'll just do the same thing. Let me just duplicate this and do type of 5. You can see item 5 also, the width has gone higher than normal, than every other one. So you can now see that we have everything are still of different, everything are still of the same height, but we have increased the width and height of some particular ones. Abigail, go ahead and speak. Abigail.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Sorry, sir. You apply the next color. The next color, is it applied to the text within? The black color, is it to the text within? Because when you apply the black color, I saw the text within came out and now changed to a black color. So does the color black apply to the text within? Because we
Yeah.
have the background color already.
Okay, this is what we have right here now. You can see here, we gave everything on the item, on the container holding the item, we gave it a color of white. That means each text color, the text
Okay.
inside every one of them should be white.
Okay.
Text inside every one of them. So, but at this particular side, at this particular element, the one we have at position 3,
Position 3. The
yeah,
item color is black,
black,
right? All
yeah.
right, all right.
So
That's
when we gave
okay.
it, and see, when we gave it a color, a background color of lemon chiffon,
You could not see the item color, right?
we cannot see
Okay.
it. So I had to
Yes,
give it
yes. Okay.
a particular color of black so that we can see that
All,
particular element.
all right.
So
Okay. It's clear, sir. It's clear, sir.
yeah, Adio, can you? Sorry, Abigail, can you mute your mic? Can your screen be full? My screen is actually full. Adio, or is this? Are you not seeing my screen? Who else is not seeing my screen? Can you confirm you're not seeing my screen?
Sir, I can see it, but the full screen is not showing. So some of the items are not showing.
Can you see it clearly now?
The yellow part is just showing halfway.
Well, maybe it's from your end. My screen is actually full.
Okay.
Probably it's from your end. Just drop off the call and join again. All right, so let's continue. So we can now see that we have given each one of them a different background color. Let's give this one, let's target the one at position 4, and we give it a, let's give it a yellow color. Let's give this one a yellow color, and we give it a text color of lemon, lemon, lemon chiffon. So you can see that's the same way we have everything. So as we go, I hope you guys understand this before we move into what we'll be building for today's class. Is there any gray area? Because by the time we are building that, I'll just be running through it and just a few more explanations. Do you understand? Hilary, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I can't drop out class, but it's actually complicated for me to get. I will probably go after the video have been posted and watch. But
What's your issue? What's the question you have? Let me see if I can.
I don't even know the question I have. It's just busting my head. That's until just clashing in my head.
Maybe by the time I redo it, building what you are going to build in today's class, you would understand it better.
Okay. But sir, one question. This when you did it for 5, the 5 came by the side of 3. Is
Yeah.
that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works, because it has to occupy the width that is available. That's it. You know, it's a row. I'm not giving it a column. You know, it's a row I'm giving it. So let's target
Okay.
7. Let's target position 7. Let's target position 7 and give it a call. Position 7 and give it a call. A column of 1/3. You can see the one at position 3, position 7. Position 7 width has now increased. So we can see we still have our 3-column grid right there. We still have our 3-column grid. We don't have 4-column grid. It's still 3-column grid. This is 1, 2, 3. That's what we still have. Do you understand now, Hilary? Do you understand now, Hilary?
So I said we still have our 1, 2, 3.
You know, what we have from the initial stage was a 3-column grid. If you can remember.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have a 3-column grid. So when we are increasing the width of a particular one, it still gives us that 3-column grid, which is item 1 is occupying 2 spaces. It's occupying from position 1 to the start of position 3, which is where position 2, item 2 is now occupying what is in position 3.
Yes,
While
sir.
position 3 has gone to the position of position 4. Position 4 is right in the center at its position. For position 5, you can now see that their heights are different.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
the heights are different and the width are different. You understand that now, Hilary?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So by itself, you just find the best way to fit in based on
Yes,
the arrangement.
yes. It just gives it a particular. Yes, that's it.
Okay. So if we want to try, we will logically know how to do it by ourselves for them to be well
Yeah,
arranged.
okay. You are having your initial grid is a 3-column grid. That means you know that every width of every element, your columns are going to be 3 columns. If you now want to add a particular column, okay, this column is 1/3, 1/4. You are just going to take 2/3. Let's do it for 9. Let's do it for 9. Let's see how 9 is going to be. Let's do it for 9. Let's do it for 9. 9, 2/3. You can see 9 has moved to the center. That means this one space that is right here, 9, I don't want it to be there any longer. I want it to be in the center. With grid, you can use it to move your items all around, even without giving it a margin to the left. You know, if you want to give this item 9, a margin to the left. We just, if you want to move it from the left to the center, we'll probably give it a margin of margin left of 200 pixels, so it can move to the center. But with CSS Grid, I just need to change the way it is occupying, the width of the position is occupying, to give it that particular element. So let me do 2/4. I think with 2/4 it's going to expand from 2 to 4. So you can see now with this, that's expanded from position 2 to the end. Do you understand now, Hilary?
Sir, I understand, but I thought one of our the other one you did should start from there and end at the other side, but it's moved it instead of expanding it. What's the difference?
Because I didn't start from position 1. I started from position 2.
Okay, so the two is the
Yes.
column side. Okay.
I started from column 2, which is the position. Not if I do it from 1 now, it's going to extend from the beginning to the end. You can see I gave it 1 to 4. It occupied everything.
Okay.
Do you understand now, Hilary?
Yes, I get that now.
All right. So Adelaja, what's your question?
Okay, sir. Sorry for taking you back, sir. Is at that grid template, that column, that template that you wrote repeat, please, I want you to say come again, sir.
Okay, when I said grid template column repeat, what I mean is I need 3 different columns. You know, before, what we are going to do is this. What we are going to do is going to be 200 pixel, 200 pixel, 200 pixel. This is what we have.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do 200 pixel, 200 pixel, 200 pixel. So I just told it that give me a 3-column grid. I just do something called repeat. Okay. Give me 3-column grid of 1 equal size. That the 3-column grid should be of equal size. That is what 1 fractional unit means.
Okay.
That's what FR means. FR means fraction. The full meaning of FR is fraction. So give me 3 different grid, 3 columns of the same size. That's what 3 FR means. That means give me 3 columns. If I say 4, if I write 4 here now, it's going to give me 4 columns. Look at it. You can see now. It gave me 4 columns.
Okay.
It's the particular amount of columns I want that I'm going to use for that. Do you understand now?
Yes, I do.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other question before we go into what you are building? Are we all clear now? Or I know by the time we start building, you will understand better. Any question? Abigail, go ahead.
So the item 3, our color was not applied. You forgot after explaining to me, you did not include the color again.
Okay, let me just.
The item 3, the red color.
Okay, black. So the item is black. So it's now black. So hope we understand now. Do we all understand now before we go into what we are building for today? All right. I think we are good to go. So let me show you the design once again to understand. So you can tell me how we are going, because we are going to build this together. I want to make sure you understand CSS Grid. So who can tell me what you are going to do? Who can just give me a rough sketch of what you are going to do right here? Anybody? Okay. Sorry, Unok. NTUK. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Good morning, all the same. I think what we will need to do here is to be in terms of column. to be a 4-column grid, then I think the rows will maintain 2 to be two row and a 4-column grid.
Okay.
So we'll start with grid column, grid template column, repeat 4.
Okay.
That's what I think. Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead. Oh, Paul, you have a different opinion. Paul, if you have a different opinion, unmute and speak.
No, apparently that's what I wanted to say, because when I saw it, I knew that it was exactly 4 column, then 4 1 FR.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's now start building it. So I will just clean whatsoever we have here, so we don't confuse ourselves. So I'm going to rush our HTML structure, so I don't have to start going back and forth. I don't start going back and forth to start explaining. We all understand HTML structure. So I have this our write-up for whatsoever we are building. This is our write-up right here. These are write-up. So I'll just be copying and pasting them one after the other. So we all can be following. So that's it. So, but if you have any question, you know the drill. Raise up your hand or just drop it in the chat box. So yeah, let's start. Firstly, what are we going? But according to our design, okay. I don't want us to stay too long on that. So let me just build this up myself. Okay. So we have a big container with a class. Just I don't want something long. So the next thing we have is we have a div with a card. So I'll also be using some abbreviations just to make things fast. If you want to have that abbreviation, just use a dot and a so what is the next thing we have? We have oh, thank you for well, if I'm writing a class name, actually, a class name is not case sensitive. It's whatsoever I write as my class name that I'm going to use across, but it's also a good practice to make everything lower cases. Thank you very much, Stanley, for showing me that it's an oversight. So it's actually possible you have an oversight while writing your code. Thank you very much. It shows that you're following. So we have our header, and what do we have inside our header? We have our image according to our design. So we have an src. We have an src. Where is our image? We have an src which holds our image and an alt, which is this. So I'm going to get our image from our image folder dot slash images slash Daniel. That's Daniel. The first person is Daniel according to our design, right? According to our design, the first person is Daniel. Am I okay? The first person is Daniel Clifford. So we have that right there. We just have an alt text of Daniel. So the next thing we have is we have a div with his name. Well, it's just my naming convention. It's just my naming convention. No, it's just my naming convention. It's just my naming convention. It's for me to be able to target my elements properly. That's why I'm using a double underscore. As I said, your class name can be anything. Even if I use an underscore, it's still going to go. So it's just my convention of naming my class name. So hope you guys understand. Imole and Genevieve, do you understand? It's just my convention of naming stuff. So it's based on preference. So you can always develop your own coding style as you go. you will develop your own coding style, and you would know what you write what suits you best. So that's that. We have a what's the next thing we have right there? We have, well, you can also get it. Let's be done with the class. You still have a task at hand, so let me just be copying and pasting some of these things, so I don't need to begin to think too much. So the next thing here is we have inside our header. Next thing we have is our p tag holding. So let me copy this from here. This is what we have, and paste it right here. Then we have the next one. You can also see that my code is actually readable. I am indenting my code properly so that we can all see it. So you have to make sure that even if I send you this code now, you should be able to read it, even if I upload it on Google Drive or any code base, or if I'm using Code Sandbox. If I copy this code and paste it on Code Sandbox, it's also going to give me the same thing. So for readability's sake, that is why I am doing this. So is there a limit to the amount of elements? No, there's no limit. You can have one, as I said in the HTML class, you can have your own elements right inside one div. There's no limit. There's no limit actually. So I'm just trying to break this up so that I don't have, so this is what we have right here. We have this, Control C, let me paste it right there. And I think we are done with the first element. Let's check it out. So this is what we have right here. So let's do for the second one. Let's now style up the second one. Oh, okay, I have to indent this properly. So what do we have right here? What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this. They are all similar, just some changes right there. So what's the next one? Next one is okay. We have a purple. What I'm getting, what I'm using to style is this. I'm using this their background color so that I would know which one is which. So I don't have to start going back and forth of thinking which one is which one. So that's why I'm using their background color. Yeah, I have prettier installed, but my prettier sometimes does not work. It happens sometimes like that. My prettier sometimes don't work. That is why I have to indent. I have to restart my VS Code so that my prettier can work. So the next person is, who is the next person right there? The next person is Jonathan Walter. Jonathan Walter. So let's get Jonathan Walter picture. Jonathan Walter. Okay. Then his name also is Jonathan Walter. So let's get this Jonathan Walter. Control C. Control V. Yeah, writing HTML sometimes is no, you have to restart. If you read through the code, if you go to prettier and you read through, they'll tell you at some point that you have to restart it. So by the time you restart it, you would be able to see your elements properly. So I'm actually missing something here. Who can tell me? Okay, I have to give this a class because I'm also going to style it. That's class image. So let me also copy this and paste it right down here. Control C, Control V. I think we are done with that. So I just need to change I just need to change the text, which is right there. So let me also change this one also. So I think we are done with that. So the next one is you have to so we have to copy this. I just have to duplicate it another time. There's no need. It doesn't matter. It's just for okay, I should just use lorem. Alright, because I want you to see. I don't just want us to be building dummy stuff. That's why I'm actually doing this. I should use lorem instead. Okay, I should use lorem. Alright, that's perfect. I'll use lorem. So the next one we have is let me just change the images so that but let me just change the name. Who's the third person? Who's the third person? Okay, I won't change the text again. I will just leave the text right there, but I'll just change the name. Why should I change the Daniel to Jonathan? Afusat. Afolabi. Why should I change the Jonathan to Daniel? Do you have a particular reason for that? Okay, the alt text. It doesn't matter. You just have to leave it there. So I think we are done with that. I also have to change the. I don't want this to have this. I just give it a card. So what do we have next? We have. I don't appreciate that. Yeah, Isaac, I don't appreciate that. So let's check. Okay, we have done 1, 2, 3. The next person, okay, 1, 2, 3. The next person is Patrick. The next person is Patrick. So let's fix for Patrick. The next person is Patrick. So let's fix that for Patrick. So let's log this, and we have for Patrick. This is image for Patrick. Patrick, and we have Patrick name also right here. So we have right here, we have a different class name. So I think we are done with this. Or let me check. Hilary, what's your question? I'm trying to figure out my design. So Hilary, just ask a question.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'm very sorry. I'm getting it, but I'm not having time to look through the structure of one of that card. Can you just help me just go through the card so I know I'm seeing a lot of dev inside.
Okay, I'm actually running through. We have less than how many minutes left, and I want us to finish. We have less than 30 minutes left. I want us to finish this. Don't worry about the HTML. It in itself. It's the CSS we should focus on. So I just want us to finish the. Let me check what we have on our browser. So what are you doing, and what is the video showing? It's like a season. Maybe it's probably from your end. I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we are going to go to the fifth one. It's probably from your end. The video is our class is not season. Okay, so the next one is out down, and it's Karen White. Next person down here is Karen White. So I think we are done with our HTML with this. Let me copy this. You can't. The thing is, you can't keep up with writing code, and if I'm to do this, we'll spend like 2 hours. doing this. So I think, and also let's change this picture so that we just focus into the CSS directly. So yeah, so we are done with our HTML structure. So let's now go to our CSS. So at any point, if you don't understand anything, just let me know so I can always come back to it. So our background color here will not be this. Our background color is going to be this. Well, Hilary wants to learn. He always have a question, so it's actually good. You don't just assume that yeah you know everything. You have to ask a question so that you can always understand. Yeah, so yeah, so let's finish up this. If you have a question, please let me know so I don't jump past it and you now start dragging me back again. I'm going to introduce a different a style which I've not used before, which is line height. If you have line height is also a property, so actually increasing the line height of your font. So I am doing this. So we are done with that. So let's now go to our testimonial. I can see my HTML. I can see my classes properly. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm splitting my screen. So we have a margin of 144 pixel. We also have a margin. We did this before. A margin 100 pixel and auto. We also have. I think we are we all familiar with this? Okay. Padding. Then we have 20 pixel. Then what next do we have right here? We have we have to use our display grid, which is the foundation. And the next thing we have is we have to do as you have said, as someone said, he said we should use a grid template column of 4 FR of repeat 4 comma 1 FR, and we have a gap. Who can tell me the gap I should give both of them according to what you can see on the screen? Can anyone tell me the gap I should give?
I think 10 pixels should be fine.
10 pixels should be fine. So let's check it out. 10 pixels. So let's see what we have. So this is what we have currently now. Can we see? You can see that the 10 pixel is not giving us what we want, so we just have to increase it. So let's increase it to 30. Yeah, I was even thinking 40, but I think 30 should be perfect. So we have, this is what we have. So let's now continue. Yeah. Dot card. What's the next thing we have right here? We have a card. We have a card. Okay. We have a card. I don't want to be going back and forth. So we have a background color of white. That's our default background color for everything. So we will now give it a different background color for each one of them. A border radius. You can see that there is, if you check the design properly, you can see that there are some curved edges around there. There are some curved edges, so you have to pay attention to those designs. You can see I'm actually paying attention to each and everything that is on the design. So that is why I'm giving this to know that I'm going to look at your design one after the other. I don't just grid randomly. I look at the design. So we have a border radius right there. We just give it a border radius of 10 pixel. Well, let me just tell you, for this, I'm not just coming up with a random size on my head. I'm not coming up with a random size on my head. I have done this over and over again, and I've seen the perfect size for it. That is why I am doing this. So you can always play around with your style. You can give it 10 if it's not perfect enough. But if you are working with a Figma design, you will definitely see you will definitely see it. You will definitely see the size which you are going to use. I hope you guys understand. Do you guys understand? I'm going to give it a padding of 30 pixel also. I'm also going to give it, there's also something called box shadow. If you can see, if you look at the design very well, it's as if the design is out of the box. It's kind of a little bit above. So that's what a box shadow does. Yeah, something like a Figma effect. Yeah, that's what a box shadow does. I give it an RGBA of, you can see once I said RGB, it gave me 17. Next one is going to be 12. Just something subtle though. The next one is going to be 46, and the alpha is transparency. Well, I can't go back to master it at this point. You should have caught me when I did that right there, because I've explained it before. 0.15. Then we have the a margin bottom. So you can see when I told you earlier that if you are using a margin, that if you are using the margin, you don't have to, you're still going to get some point where you're going to you're still going to use, you want to set a margin only for the bottom and not for everything. So that's what the margin bottom is going to do. So I'm giving the margin bottom of 10 pixels, just something small. So you guys, let's see what we have. You can see we have something like there is a kind of border. If you can check my screen properly, you see that there's a background color of kind of light gray at the back, and there's also a white. So by the time I give each one of them the different background colors, you will see them properly. Yeah, so let's continue. So we have a card header, which is right there, card header. Hilary, go ahead and speak.
So please, can you show us the on the Chrome the border bottom effect?
The margin bottom, I didn't say border bottom, margin bottom.
Okay, sorry, yes, the margin bottom.
Yeah, it's because it's kind of white, you won't probably see it. Can you see the margin I gave to this stuff? Can you see the white background? If you
I can
can
see
look
the white background of the card, but I can't see the
there's a margin bottom right there, but it's not visible because I've given it a margin bottom before. It's
Okay,
not that
sir.
visible. So it's just something small right there. So I have a display flex. I have an align item center. You can see I'm also using flex and grid together. They go hand in hand. You can always use them the same way. So I have a margin bottom here, a margin bottom of 10 pixel. No, margin bottom of 10 pixel. So this is it. Let's see what we have. You can see that we have everything. We are with our flex. You know what a flex does? It's side by side. So let's now style. Does anyone have any question? Okay, dot card head underscore head h3. That means I'm styling the h3 inside it. I'm going to also style the image. Give the card header a gap. Well, okay, I'm coming. If you look at our design, it's based on what we have on our design we are working with. I'm still going to give it a gap, but I'm coming. Just wait. Where is okay? Let me go back to my index. So I'm giving this a font size of 15 pixel, 15 pixel. So okay, let's now style our image. What name did we give her? Oh, is a double underscore. Yeah, sometimes mistake happens. Thank you, Adelaja, for noting that. I have a card image. Let's start our card image. Dot card image. Card underscore image. Card underscore image. We have a width. Give it a width of. Let's give it 50 pixel. Let's give it an height also. But most times when you are giving an height of your image, your image automatically takes up the height. Once you give it a width, it automatically takes up the height like that. So 50 pixel also. Then what else do I want to give you? You can see our image is rounded, is fully rounded. We have a rounded of 50%. What else do we have there? We have a border. There's a border around it. So I have another external screen which I'm using to check for my design. So instead of me going back and forth on the design right here, so that's why I'm telling you what we have on the design before I'm writing it. So we have a border radius because the image, if you check the image right here, the image is rounded. So we have that image there. So let's do this. Border radius of 50%. So it's going to be fully rounded. Then we have a border around it. Border 2 pixel solid. 2 pixel solid. And we have, it's kind of white. So let's give it that white color. That is 996E D9. D9. So let's check what we have right now. So can we see our design is already coming to life? Can we see our design is coming to life? I want response. Yeah, so bit by bit, it's going to come to life. So let's keep building. So the next thing, what do we have right here? We have our card lead. We have our card lead dot card underscore lead. We have a font size. You can see I'll be using different. We have 1.5 rem. We are supposed to make mention of CSS width, CSS measurements. We also have some that made mention of font width. I just give it a font width of 500. I don't need to put a 500 pixel in front of it. So I give it a line height of 1.3. So, and the next thing, what do I have here? I have a margin bottom of, let me give it 20 pixel. So let's see what we have. You can see it's coming to life already. You just see, that's one beautiful thing about CSS. CSS is very interesting to write. CSS is very, very interesting. By the time you are seeing the visual representation of what you are doing, CSS is very, very interesting to write. And I can tell you, you would enjoy CSS. But that's all I can say for now. I won't say otherwise. So let's type our quote, QUOTE. What do we have here? We have a font size of 15 pixel. And see, you can actually use them intertwined. So I'm going to explain to you the difference between the rem, the pixel, the percentage, the view width, and the view height. So, but let's just run. We have a font weight of also 500. Font weight of 500. We also have a line height. This style here. Line height of 1.4. And there's something called opacity. It should be a little bit faded, 70%. So let's check the design and see what we have and what we have on our screen. And see what we have right here. And let's check what we have on our screen. Is there is aside from the other styling that there, what do we have now? Is it looking alike? I want to hear a comment. Is it looking alike? Is it looking alike? Please. Yeah, so let's continue. So let's be fast. So what's the next thing we have right here? We have our card BG purple. So let's start our card BG purple. So it's going to be dot card dash dash BG dash purple. So we are going to give it, you can see now from our style guide, they have given us the color purple. So I don't need to start looking for the color purple. Where is it? You can see this is the color purple. So we just copy this and come here and just do BG background color, and we just paste it. And once we paste that, we have our background color and we have a text of white. And what else do we have there? Can someone tell me something that is going on here? Looking at our design, is there a background image here? Is there a background image there? Can someone speak? Can someone Samson, go ahead.
Yes, we have a quotation background for Daniel Clifford.
Yeah, so this is how you insert a background image in CSS. There's something called background image. You can see background image. And the next thing you have to do is, instead of you using an SRC, you use a URL. You use a URL and you do this. That URL is going to point to where you have the images, which is inside our images folder. Inside our images folder slash, oh, sorry. You have to put a quote, dot slash, no, you have to do a dot slash images. We have a big quote, that is SVG. This is what IK was talking about as an SVG earlier on. So we have our background image already. And once you do this, let's check it out. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let's check. Something. What's the something?
I think the class in HTML spelling is different from instead of pop, there's more arrows for the class.
Oh, let me just put an arrow there. Let me just put an arrow. That's also an oversight. It's always possible you have an oversight. That's why I have my sir. So you can see something here now. You can see that our what's the name? Our quotation is actually multiplying itself. So there's something called, because it's actually repeating, it's occupying the full width. Once it has gotten the width it wants, it occupies another. It just keep multiplying. So there's something called there's a style that you apply on your background images. If you don't want it to repeat itself, you just do something called background repeat. You can see it here, background repeat, none, no repeat. Once you write no repeat, it's not going to repeat. And now, when I was saying something that there is a position, okay, let me show you. You can see that looking at this design, you can see that the position of our logo of the quotation is not is on the right hand side. So you have to position the image, the background image, to be on the right hand side. So let's do that. So it's going to be background position, top 10 pixel and right 100 pixel. Sorry, I should have given this a space. So let's check it out. So by the time we make use of our CSS grid, we are going to, you can see now is at the right hand side. By the time we make use of our CSS grid, it's going to give us actually what we want. So let's continue. Let's style let's start with the other card that we have, which is this. We have a different card, which is gray purple of CD of card BG dash BG gray dash blue. Did I miss anything out there? Please confirm. Background color. Let's come to our style guide and pick the background color from here. So this is it. Where is it? This is it. So Control C. Let's put it right here. Let's go back to our index and see what we have here. So, and the color also, the text color to be white. So, are we all following? Is anyone confused? I want to know if you are confused or not. Nedu, you are confused. Something, are you confused or you are following? Which one of them? You thought it is card. No, you know they are different. They are different. Onye, they are different. If you look at this now, you can see there's a card. There are two. You can have multiple class for one particular element. So this particular card I am giving it, the card is across all other elements, which is this card I have here. This card, all the styles I have for this card, this background image, this background color of white and the likes, is across every of the card. But I want some particular card to have a different style. I want some particular card to have a different style. That is why I gave this one a card BG purple. I gave this one a card BG gray blue, like that. I gave this one a card BG black blue. So I can style them the same way, but by the time I target this particular class, then I am giving it a different style. Do you understand now, Onye? Do you understand? All right. So let me take that for. All right. So the next one we have is a card. The next card is BG black blue. BG black blue. Dash BLUE. And this is what we have here. We have a background color. Let's go to our style guide and pick the color right here. This is what we have. Control C. And let's come back here and paste it. Oh, sorry. And paste it right here. So, and let's give the color to be white also. Color white. So let's check what we have. So we'll see that you can see we are right on course. We are perfectly right on course. So we have given everything as the way it is right now. Everything has equal height and equal width. That is what is right here. So now let's use CSS Grid to turn everything all around to give it this particular design that we have right here. So let's go ahead. So the first thing we have to do now is we have to target the first class, the card NTH type of child. Okay, we give position 1 and we target this to be, what should I target it as? Someone should tell me what I should target it as if you are following. Just look at the design once again. Look at the design once again and tell me which position I should give it. What grid column should I give it? Who can tell me the grid position I should give it? The grid column I should give it. Oh yeah, go ahead. Unmute and speak.
I would say give it 1, 3.
1, 3. Adelani said I should give it 1/2. Paul said I should give it
1/3.
1/3.
Okay, all right. Can you just mute your mic? So let's try the different ones. Let's see. Let's try 1/4 first. Grid column 1/4. Let's see. You hope you are not forgetting that we still have something right here. So Adelani, you have seen your Paul. Is it Paul who said Paul? You said we should give it 1/4. You can see with 1/4, we are not going to have the particular design we have. So you can see that that one has extended right to the end and pushing another column to the bottom. So that's not what we are going to have. We are supposed to have 1/3. The ideal one is 1/3. So yeah, so that's what CSS is for. You have to play around it. So now we have our first particular one is done. Our first template grid column is done already. So let's go to the second one, which is, let's target the second one, which is this. Let's do what's going to be the second one? Card dot card dot, okay. Is it only AZ that is going to speak? Adelani, are you shy? Or Michael Adele, are you shy? You don't want to make mistake again. What should be the next one? I'm targeting position 4. I'm targeting the one at position 4. I'm targeting the one at position 4. So what am I going to add here? I'm targeting the one at position 4. So this current white that is the one at position 4. So what am I going to do to it? What am I going to do to it? Answer. Hilary, go ahead.
So I'm not seeing the design very well, the full design to know number 4, so I can't give answer to it all.
Okay, this is number 4. This current white is
Okay, it will be row.
row. Okay, a row of what?
1/3.
Okay, 1/3. Okay, let's try what you have. 1/3, 1/3, and also Paul, you're shaking. There's no need to shake now. There's no need
Can
to
I give
shake.
it a try?
Yeah, you can give it a try. Go ahead.
It will be row 1 and 2.
1 and
No,
2.
1 and 3. 1 and 3. 1 and
Okay,
3.
1 and 3. Okay,
I feel
let's.
it's 1/2.
Okay, I'm going to give it a column also. So let me just give it 2/4. Let's check what we have right here. You can see what you guys. Yeah, so you know the reason why. Let's just give it this. Let's give it a this of 2. This guy talks say the shake. So let's just, so you can see now we have the particular one. What we're looking for. Well, why is this changed? Coming. Karen White. I think I am missing out something. This is not the particular way it should be. Grid column 4. Let's check the design. It should be Karen White. That should be there. And let's check our HTML so that we know that we have it the same way. Let me remove this. I'm coming, just a second. Yeah, let me check this. I want to know. Okay, we have something different. Karen White should actually supposed to be where the way we position our HTML is actually wrong. So let me check. Let me see. Should I correct that? You can see I have Karen White as the last person. So it's just a position difference. So you can always change that when you get to your code. So we are still right on course, yeah? We are still right on course. Control Z. We are still right on course. So it's just the positioning where I had Karen is supposed to be here. Why? I just switched the position. So let's let's continue to position 5. Yeah, so the one at position 5. So Omo, I see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we
Yes, sir.
can.
Okay, so let me share. Let's go back. So Nedu, you're supposed to speak. Nedu, you were supposed to speak. Kindly go ahead and speak.
Okay, I wanted to ask, from the code you wrote on that 80, is it possible for one to have a grid and a column together?
A grid
This
and a column. What?
grid column 2/4 and grid row 2.
Yes, you can.
Okay,
You can actually.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I have to just. We are already far behind time, so I just have to run up. So 4, and the next one we have a grid column, a grid row rather, a grid rule of 1/3. So let's see what we have. So is our design looking the way we are supposed to have it? Can someone check? Let's look at it. And are we having something different? Do we have something different?
No,
Do we have something different? Others might have contrary opinion. Well, CSS grid is actually interesting. Is very very much interesting. So you just have to be calm. That's just it. You just have to be calm where you're trying to align your items properly. So you try to confuse yourself. Yeah, so does anyone have any question? Our time is up. We just have 2 minutes.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just a quick one. Concerning the assignment task 3 using the Figma. I know that when you go through Figma, most of the dimensions will be given on pixels. Are we meant to stick strictly to the pixels until we have taught how to make use of rem and m equally
Yeah.
percentage? I just want to be clear.
Well, I would give you the luxury to experiment with it. Experiment with it because I can't teach you that again. Just experiment with it. So I would when we get to the next class, I'll just run through it before we go into what we have for the next class.
Yeah, I mean we can use pixels. It won't.
Yeah, you can
Just
use
want to
pixel, you
know.
can use rem, you can use pixel, you can use rem, you can use centimeter, you can use centimeter if you can use centimeter.
What about
You can use
percentage? Can we use percent?
you can use percentage.
Okay. No worries. Thank you very much. Then again, there's something I also, while I was reading on Flex, I came across something that says Flex growth, but I noticed that we haven't taught on that. I don't know if you could
Flex
share some. Yes.
flex is not flex growth, it's
Grow,
flex
grow,
growth. Yeah.
grow. Yeah, let's grow.
What flex growth does is that it increases the size of a particular element. That means you are doing it on one particular element. You are doing it on one particular element. That is what flex growth means. You understand now? Okay, now you have different elements and you want a particular element to increase in size aside every other one. You just use a flex grow for it and it increases in size. Do you understand now?
Yes, I've gotten it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Francisca, go unmute and speak. I can't hear you, Francisca. It seems you are far away from your microphone. Your voice is still muffled. I can't hear you. Are you using a earpiece or a earpod? I can't hear you, Francisca. Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, I didn't. I at some point in this class I had to go out, so I would look. I'm going to watch the video on YouTube and ask any question if I have any question. But what I want to ask is like a request for the video you showed earlier before the class on how to extract that image on Figma. Many people would actually need that video, but I don't think it was everybody that was opportune to be in this class at that time. So I don't.
When
It's
I'll
like
be
a
having,
request.
yeah, when I'm having the next, what's the name? When I'm having the Google Meet session later in the evening, I would show that again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Francisca, please go ahead.
Can you hear me now, sir?
I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, sir. For this particular design we are trying to replicate, I want to ask how many columns and row do we have here exactly? Because it's kind of confusing.
Okay, let me show you. From the onset, we have just 4 columns, which is, where did I set that? You can see here now we have 4 columns. I said we should repeat 4 columns of equal height, which is equal size, which is 4 columns, 1 fractional unit. We have 4
Okay,
different
sir.
columns with this our
Okay.
design. So it's that 4 different columns that we have that we now use to size our images into different proportions. Do you understand now?
Okay, so there is just column. What of the row? How many rows?
We have just 2 rows.
Okay.
We have just 2 rows.
Okay, then the second question is, I thought we usually, sir, can you go back to the code again?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, where?
down. Yes. No, keep going down towards that place we use the 1/4. Yes. So we had grid row of 2 and grid column of 4. I thought they're meant to be in fractions, like 2 over something and then
Oh,
maybe
okay.
1/4 or
But you
something.
know, I'm not dividing for what I'm using a row here for. I'm not dividing anything. I'm not dividing anything. So I just wanted to occupy the full column of what it has, the full row of what it has. That's why I'm giving it a 2. You know, we have just 2 columns. If we check this design, we have just 2 columns.
2
That
rows,
is
sir.
why.
It's 2 rows.
Two rows rather. Sorry. We have
Okay.
just 2 rows. So it should occupy from the top to the bottom. Occupy the full row. That is why I'm just giving it a 2 because we just have 2 rows. Do you understand now?
Okay. And then the grid column had to occupy 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Francisca.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you stop recording the class? Do you know how to do that? The lecture.
No, sir.
Can you just transfer the host to me so I can just stop? I can just stop recording. Just click on my name and you will see make host.
Hello. Sorry, can I ask one quick question?
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
I can. Now, I'm a bit confused because if you look at card end of type, I understand the 1, but I'm confused how you got the 4 and how you were able to pick up the 5. Because when I'm counting, I can see that the purple one is 1, the light gray is 2. I was expecting the 3 should be should be the column that goes straight down when you have to do the row. I was expecting that one to be 3, but you're saying it's 5. So I'm a bit confused. I don't know how you did the numbering.
Wait, how many rows? How many columns do we have here? This is the purple one is
Go
1.
4. Mm-hmm.
This
Yes.
is 1. This is
Mm-hmm.
1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4, and this is 5.
Yes, I'm with you.
Have 5 elements right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is of 1. We are expanding the width of 1. 2 has its own definite size. While 3 is extending from the top to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, if you can look at the one at position 3 now, if you can because let me change the background color of our body to something else. Let me change the background color. Let me change it
No,
to red.
I think I understand. Is when you're targeting it that I'm having issues. It's the targeting that I'm having issues. Because if you wrote 5, I was expecting it to be 3. Right.
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I hear you. No, sorry. I was saying that it's the targeting that I'm having issues with. I'm okay with how the grid is being done. But
Okay.
I was expecting that, if you look at your code, when you were targeting 5, that's 5th element. I was expecting it to be the 3rd element.
It can't be the
Go
3rd
down.
element now. It can't be the 3rd element. 5 can't be the 3rd element. How would 5 be the 3rd element?
No, but if you look at your grid, like your div, this is the purple one should be div 1. The light gray beside it is grid 2. Then the white one should be grid 3, which is the one that we've actually included.
This is grid 3. This is grid
But
3.
Yes, is it that I'm not seeing properly? But I'm seeing 5 there in it. Is it 5 or is it 3?
5 is this one, this down one here. This Patrick Abraham is 5. Patrick Abraham is actually 5. That is what the position at position 5. That is what we position 5. So
Then is there anyone for? Yeah, but I'm not seeing. Is there anyone for position 3 in
there's no
the
one for
code?
position 3. There's no one for position 3.
Then I think
Okay, I get where you're confused now. I get where you're confused now. So let me just comment this all out. So just a quick run overview. So you can see now everything we have right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, I'm with you.
So beginning from this point, the first one, which is at position 1, the first one which is at position 1, the one which is at position 1, it is now extended.
Okay.
You can see now extended. Position 1 is extended. Position 2 is still normal size. Position 3 is still the normal size. Position 4 is still the normal size. Position 5 is still the normal size.
Okay.
So for the second one, we now do this. We now increase it. We now increase for position 4. You can now see for position 4, which is this. Position 4 is this. This current is position 4. If you look at position 4 now, we change the way it is aligned. We moved it from here. You can see we gave it column 2/4. Let's give it 1/4. Let's give it 1/4. You can see we move this one patch now is now at position 2. Is now at 1/4. That means this one now is now at position 4. This Karen now is now at position 4. So we change the position of Karen from number 4 to number 5. Do you understand now?
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what we did right here when we did 2/4. That's what we did right here when we did 2/4. So we took the position away from the normal flow and brought it right here. So we now gave
Okay.
this position 5. We now gave what we have at position 5. We now gave this. Now did this.
Okay.
So everything is all aligned. That's what we have. Do you understand now?
Yeah, well, I'll need to do a bit of reading, but I didn't know that there was a switch. So I'll have a look and see.
Actually,
I just study it later and see.
yeah. So
Okay.
thank you very much for today's class.
Yeah.
You can always just take the YouTube and you would always go over it. You can't just get everything at once in class, but you have to go over it over and over again so you can understand it. So, thank you very much.